Bismillah.
Yeah. Which one's me?
That's what I said. Alright, let's go. Bismillah.
Dun 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 dun.
I'm just gonna start straight into it.
You're a clown.
At least mention it during conversation.
Actually a clown,
Well,
bro.
that's subtle, yeah.
What episode is this? 15.
15.
What are you saying?
Well, I'm gonna let you off the leash and let you do an intro after last time. You dress yourself. Take a deep breath.
Alright, Assalamu alaikum, people. What's happening? You're now listening to the Jollof After Jummah podcast.
Listening.
Myself, Abdullah. Introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum, people. It's Abdul Malik.
Assalamu alaikum, it's Ibs.
Alright. What are
Oh,
we
you're
saying?
back. You're back.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
saying?
I'm back, yeah.
Well done.
The Judge boys are now married off.
Apparently.
The trio.
Is that apparently?
Allahumma
Apparently,
barik.
yeah.
So yeah, right.
I said apparently.
Man's got evidence, fam.
This guy.
It's got evidence. If I posted what Dollar told me to post, yeah, you wouldn't be happy.
What?
The before and after pic.
Oh,
What was it? I can't
don't be
remember.
silly. Don't be silly.
Don't you mean don't be silly?
Before and after what?
Before she stepped in the room
Let me see.
and after she stepped in the room, fam.
You've taken a mic, bro. Oh, okay. This one. Alright. Did you get pictures of that?
Huh? I'll take hella pictures.
This guy was looking hella disgruntled.
Hella disgruntled.
I wasn't. I was waiting.
It's
innit?
like this. Hurry up your sermon, bro.
I was waiting.
Man's
innit?
doing the most.
Huh?
Don't be silly.
What do you mean?
Just give him his phone back.
Relax. Oh, yeah.
Just give.
They can't see from here.
Just give him his
Relax,
phone back.
man. Relax. Relax.
Right, what are you saying?
Actually, a clown.
Don't worry, people will be on the Insta soon anyway. So
No, it will never be on the Insta.
Why not?
It will never ever be
Why
on the
not?
Insta. No.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What's gonna be on the Insta?
The before and after pics.
Stop being silly.
Don't you want the world to know how happy marriage has made you?
No.
Fam, I ain't seen you smile like that in my life.
You're a liar. You're definitely a liar. They can find out from me if they want to know.
See
Yeah.
that beam, that
That beam,
smile
fam.
when his missus walked in.
Fa-
Allahumma barik.
you know, like the Jollof is ready smile.
He's coming
yeah?
back.
That
He's
was-
already thinking about it.
Don't worry,
Come
he's
on.
alright. He's alright.
All right.
Allahumma
If
barik.
if anybody's unclear at this point, yes.
But congrats,
I got
Ibs.
married.
My brother
That's
Ibs
why
got married.
I was missing last week. Yeah.
Allahumma
Alhamdulillah.
barik.
Is that it?
man.
Yeah, I got married last week.
You don't sound too happy about it.
No, I'm happy about it. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, of
Alright, the
course I
smile is
Alright, don't touch me. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Hey, man, like Ibs are there.
Yeah.
Nah, they're sick, man. They're sick, man. Yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry. I know, obviously, I'm getting inquiries about it. But, yeah, I've been stalling them. Obviously, the cat's out the bag now. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. How does it feel?
No, alhamdulillah, it's good, man. I'll be honest. Everybody's been asking me that. It doesn't feel that much different.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Are you sure you're allowed to say that?
Yeah, I've told her the same thing as well.
Bro.
It actually doesn't feel that much different.
Bad man
It's
thing.
just-
I will tell it to your face.
Bad
Yeah.
man thing. These times he's gonna go home and wash the plates, but anyway.
Alright, cool. I already watched them.
Have you done the bath as well?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. You took the meat out as well, yeah? That's it, man. Alhamdulillah. Also, actually, I was gonna get into location, but
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
obviously,
Yeah,
obviously.
let's not.
East man, innit? Still East man. Loyal to the, what is it? Calais.
Yeah,
We ain't done the Calais thing in a while, you
Huh?
know. We've been allowing you, the Calais thing. Obviously, you're in London now, though, innit?
Yeah, I mean,
Alhamdulillah.
yeah.
It wasn't one of them passport marriages, though, yeah? Because, you know, EU is coming in it, so it's not going to be that easy for you to... Aye, fam, we need to talk about the responses, fam. To the
last
poll.
week.
Bear man are in their feelings.
I haven't read the responses, so I'll just take some.
We don't need to read them out, but just...
Yeah, we're not
I'm
gonna.
gonna read them for myself now.
Ah, yeah.
Get
Yeah,
a live reaction.
Well, let me see. Let me read out the post I put anyway.
What's
what did I
the?
So I said it was obviously we spoke about last week about how paying me to raise your kids. Ibs, did you listen to the episode?
Yeah, of course I
Ah,
did.
cool. If like obviously we spoke about
Is there a username or is it just no?
no, I put it in the chat, bro.
No, I'm talking about the Instagram login.
Why? Put it in the chat.
I put it in the chat. It's quicker if you just look in the chat.
Uh,
Yeah, obviously I put last week we spoke about the scenario where like the man asking his wife to stay at home and raise the kids and give up her business, and should she be paid for that? Yeah, obviously I think we had a good discussion. I think like if anyone listened to it, yeah, I would have thought that people would have thought the key takeaway is that
I'm sorry.
you don't need to match energy with mad
I'm,
energy.
I'm sorry.
But then, boy, the responses we're getting, it's like
I'm sorry. You're
Like I said,
wigged.
It's like I said again. It's because of the way the question was asked that people responded like that. That's what I think.
but
And it's the same thing with
in 2020. It should,
it's the same thing with the man them in the chat. They responded in the exact same way.
What do you mean?
Not in the exact same way, as in they gave the same answers, but they replied.
No, but you could see that there was a level of less energy in the responses they gave.
Because it
Oh,
doesn't
I read
directly
it,
affect them.
I read it.
So
Yeah,
of course
one
they're
way.
gonna be a little bit less disgruntled than a woman who's been asked to stay at home and not earn money anymore.
So do you
know what I
think?
mean?
Do you think that for example, Assalamu alaikum people, you're live with the Judge Boys. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. Like I believe me, Abdul Malik. Yeah, I think I'm somebody who is sensitive to the issues of the women in it. I think so. Innit? Obviously, people.
My man's just simping.
Contrary to what you've heard,
My
yeah.
man's just a simp.
What'd you call me?
Man's just simping.
I'm a simp. I don't need to be a simp.
Okay.
Ask about me, innit?
Okay.
Ask about me, fam. Check my resume. Check my resume, fam. But yeah, and
Little pick me.
so like, if somebody's like, for example, if somebody said something that's bare triggering to the mandem, yeah, I don't think I'm the one to just go mad, especially like.
I think some people are forgetting the point. The point was no one's actually talking about the children. So one of these was
No, but
we said we're not gonna read
no,
it out. But
somebody
hold on.
was talking about the joy and the purpose.
you
of
know, I
the
posted
occupation.
parodies anyway.
Look,
so to be,
like I said, I don't listen.
Yeah, joy and purpose.
Let me
right.
Occupation.
Dula, remember these
daughter
are
that
listeners.
you
Remember these are listeners.
The
double
daughter
check
that
this
you
before I
spent
talk.
years raising is now in a music video twerking.
What?
Because you didn't
What is he
put-
reading? What are you
I'm
reading?
not, I'm not reading nothing. I'm just saying the children, raising the children is important. Like
In the scenario, I didn't mention children, by the way. I didn't actually mention. I left it open.
But didn't you say that the reason why
No,
you
you're
would
mixing
want
up.
her
You're
to
mixing
stop?
up the podcast and the scenario.
No, the scenario you mentioned was.
Are you talking about the podcast or the one because what I asked on Insta was different from the.
Oh, okay.
So what I asked on the podcast, what I asked, on the Insta was, if a man is going to demand his wife stays at home, can she demand to be paid her old salary? That's just simple as that.
If a man demands,
I actually spoke to a
for
teacher
his-
about this as well. You know.
if a man demands for his wife to stay at home
Yeah.
for no reason at all,
Well, there's obviously going to be a reason.
I don't think you can.
But
Just,
see-
I
see,
don't
already-
think. I don't
see,
think you can
already-
just say that.
already-
You need to give a context. You need to
So
give us. You need to make the scenario.
This is the point I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
Because like I gave people a chance to answer, fair enough, and then they could. So like, see how like I think it's like 85% of people said yes. I don't necessarily have a problem with that because I might even fall on that side as well. But
If man just randomly said, just came home one day, was like, you're not working, you're staying at home. Yes, 100%. 100%.
my
is that?
issue.
If
Yeah, that's not different. That's what a demand is. That's the point.
Yeah,
but
but
I don't think no one's gonna no rational.
in this situation,
insane in their head.
in this situation, that's what happened in it. And for me, yeah, it's like because if you take that energy, and obviously people are gonna say, it's just Instagram, and it's not my real life. But I think the point I was trying to drive at is that, like, fair enough, you can give your answer, and your answer might, because of yes or no, your answer is gonna be very binary, and it's yes or no, and it's gonna be staunchly yes or no because those are your only two options. But then in your explanation, you also come with bare gusto, like, and I'm just thinking like, cool, yeah, you can feel passionate about it and blah 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 blah, yeah. But like in real life, yeah, like it doesn't make sense to just go with bare vim against, like, for example, let's say your husband comes on a mad one. There's no point matching his energy because where you gonna go from there?
Do you know what? Yeah, I don't think. I hear what you're saying. It's just that people are not going to explain that over Instagram. It's a question they're going to give you a quick answer, and
but then the explanations were very vicious, like that's the word I use,
because
vicious.
like I said, it's
because it's triggering.
Number one, it's a question on Instagram. It's triggering. It's not coming from your husband. It's not coming from someone that you love and have affection for. Do you know what I mean? So you're gonna, if the question comes with madness, you're gonna respond with madness.
But the
if
thing
it's
is,
in real life, 100%, I believe that a lot of those approaches would be a lot different.
But nowadays, yeah.
But even still,
Nowadays, though, do people... Karen first, sorry. Finish.
no, I think no.
No,
Go on.
obviously, I don't like to cut you off, innit? You don't like to cut me off, obviously.
But
Certain man...
I was gonna say, but even still, even if you do have a certain amount of love and affection for a person, if somebody comes at you on the madness, you're gonna reciprocate more than likely. You're gonna reciprocate. It takes a very good person to not and say, calm down. Let's talk about it this way. Maybe I'm waffling. Go on.
When you say come,
Big man, I'm not sure, you know. So I'm saying, wait. So you say you...
Wait.
Yeah,
When you say come with gusto and come with vim, what do you mean? Like
That's what he said.
raising of voices,
No,
or just like...
he just said in the responses that some people were coming with a lot of vim in their responses. It didn't sound like they were being understanding with the question. And
I was surprised. I didn't hear one person say, I'll try to get to the bottom. Wait, why does he want me? Because
like I said,
why would you? If your husband says something like I would like to think that if I came home and I said something drastic, that somebody would at least want to hear my
yes.
hear me
So
out
I think on that note, like I said,
because I'm not a madman. Why would I suddenly become mad?
Do you remember before this? I said to you that the Mandem responded in a similar way but different because they are maybe less disgruntled and they're not the one that's being directly affected rather than women. Because when you put the question in the chat, the first question someone asked you was, why is he demanding and not asking?
Yeah, perfect.
And
Because
let's be honest. Women.
Careful.
But
you know the man's got more to lose.
women can be irrational at
Basically,
times.
yes, women can be more emotional than rational.
I like to the views expressed by
can
Ibrahim
be. I
and
said
Abdullah.
can be. I said
Okay.
can be.
I said that, and what is the truth?
Stop it.
My mother is
No,
irrational.
no, let's not do this.
I
Let's
said
not do
women.
this.
I
Let's
said-
not do this.
I'm-
Let's speak the truth here. Women
I'm turning my back in protest.
Okay, bye. Women can be emotional, innit? Men are naturally logical.
This is what I said.
And
You're
women are naturally emotional.
you're
It's not
saying-
to say women cannot be
You're
logical
saying
and men.
the exact same thing as me. You're saying that's exactly what I said. I said women can be more emotional.
These
than
man
rational
on the
at
roads
times.
are hella
Okay.
emotional.
Okay.
Are you disagreeing with that?
Huh?
Stop it.
What?
Are you disagreeing?
Am I disagreeing?
Yes.
Men can be irrational.
Why are you doing
No
this?
one-
Why are
no
you
one-
doing
What do
this?
you mean? What am I doing?
Why are
as
you
well?
doing this?
No,
Why are you
did
doing
you
this?
not hear what I just said?
Why are you doing this, bro?
Man, just doing move, man. But anyways,
What? No. What? So you telling me man them aren't irrational? Man them don't get mad and
are
man them
you?
don't do
Are
things
your
that
ears
are...
blocked? Do you not hear what I just said?
My ears aren't blocked. Big man, don't
I just-
act up
I
for
just-
camera, you know?
If your ears are blocked, I can help you with that.
Listen, watch how you speak to me. I'll take it.
Can you sit down?
Just because the camera's on.
Got the head banging on the Jackie Chan thing, you know. Man's ready for... Alright, cool. So what you were saying was that women can be more emotional and then their responses are...
No, naturally, women are more emotional than men. But that's not to say men can't be emotional as well.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, women naturally, they come with a more emotional response compared to men that come with a more logical response. So that would make sense with the responses, especially. Listen, I'm not even gonna lie as well. A lot of the sisters that were responding with Vim and whatever,
Careful.
are they actually married? Have they been in a relationship? let's not even talk about what. Okay, let's not even talk about.
Trust.
You
have to be careful.
Let's not even talk. Let's say haram or halal. Have you actually been in a relationship where you're committed to someone? Not that I'm.
What they will say is, why is that relevant?
It's relevant because
relevant.
it correlates to
2 days married. Sorry, Joe. Sorry.
it correlates to maturity. Like when you've been with someone, and because I've experienced this myself, I've never really cared about no one like that before I got married. Even so, listen. So initially in my marriage, it was kind of you go through that early stage where you're like, why is this happening? Why am I doing this and why am I doing that? Or why am I doing this even though I'm in a right? Where I don't know, it's long to explain without actually giving the specific scenario. I'm not going into it.
I think people
But
get you.
I feel like, long story short, I feel like being in a relationship, it's where two people care about each other, and obviously it's a man and a woman, and you're both different, you naturally start to learn about each other and you naturally start to progress in terms of maturity. When you haven't had that, it's easy for you to talk nonsense and talk with him and say,
Yeah, I hear that.
not that I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. I wanna beef that point, but I struggle. But what one thing I want to say though as well, is that I think this kind of made this scenario and the responses made me think of this. Yeah, it's that it's like, so as men,
Sorry, bro. Quickly, I just remember something. The amount of times I've done stuff before marriage and reacted, and my mum's been like, "You'll see when you get married, you will see." And I've gotten married, and I'm like, "Okay."
In what way?
This is what, like, I've reacted to a certain, like, my sisters have done something and I'm like, I'm not having it. Or my mum's done something and I'm just sulking.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've reacted a certain way to my sisters or what else, or females that my mum's seen with. Or, not in that way, but, okay, I'm digging a hole. I'll never, listen, cut this out.
I'm staying in, bro.
But anyways.
If I speak.
Anyways, yeah.
It's rare that Dula will speak for more than 3 minutes, like continuously, without getting himself in trouble for that. That's getting hot.
Anyways,
slip up your thing.
It's a bit.
Alright, let me go. Let me drop out what I was gonna say. Yeah. So like, I say this situation, highlighted to me, or something I thought, like, do you think, as men, we are raised, or I think we are raised as men, to be ready to deal with the emotional side of women, and I don't think that women necessarily are raised to deal with the irrational, egotistical, emotional, whatever, which is all the same thing, side of men. I remember when I was saying that how like men can be irrational, and the reason I wanted to emphasize that point, is because it's like men are not always cold-blooded, rational, completely rational beings. Sometimes men do rash things. For example, say the scenario I gave you. If I added meat to this scenario, for example, it could be, let's say the way men are. Let's say a man is triggered, like he's triggered by a situation. I don't know. Let's say he's gone out with his friends and he's with lots of friends, or I don't know, and they're all like living a certain type of lifestyle, and then all of them are like, "Oh, what? You mean you let your wife go to work? What? Your wife works? What about your kid? Blah 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 blah." And then he's influenced or whatever, and he feels that maybe this is wrong, maybe these guys are right, and blah blah blah. And he goes home and he makes that demand, And what this is, that type of thing, that could be like not a cry for help, but it could be like a cry for help, a momentary lapse of madness. But basically, he's acting irrational and emotional, which as men, we're told that sometimes, we're prepared. Sometimes a woman might do that. They just might go on a mad one, and you just have to kind of bear with it for a while and manage her. But in a situation where men are acting irrational, it's never a case of, he's just being irrational, he's being emotional, I'll let him calm down, I'll just manage him for now. It's always, he's trying to abuse me, he's a dictator,
Sorry?
he's a this.
What?
You don't get me? Do you not follow?
Okay, I follow.
Should I explain again?
No.
No? Or you get me?
I don't get you, but
Let me explain again. So basically, as men, as men, we're trained to basically be ready to deal with the emotional side or over emotional, irrational side of women. But I don't think they are ever prepared or trained or told that they may have to deal with men being irrational, because men are sometimes irrational.
I don't think that's true.
You don't
think that's true?
No, I don't think men are trained to what was he said?
Society teaches men that women are.
I don't
emotional.
think you can learn that until you've been, let's not say in a relationship, but been dealing with someone and being around someone
So your
that
dad
you
never
care
told you
about.
that?
You might not know.
No. Shall I tell you why? Me and you are similar in the fact that we've both been raised around females, right? You've only
Sisters,
got.
yeah.
Yes.
I haven't.
Female
I wasn't raised around females, but I know that.
Yeah, no.
But
But
society,
this is going with the point that I'm trying. This is the going with the point that I'm trying to raise.
Yeah.
We've both been raised around females.
Yeah.
Are we still? But I would say the amount of emotional intelligence that we have is probably not so too. It's not so too dissimilar to the amount of emotional intelligence that Ibs has.
But I don't think it necessarily comes from family.
When we
though.
both, huh?
I don't think it comes from family. I think it comes from society, all of society.
Yeah.
What do you mean all of society?
TV, everything in life teaches you.
Give me
that
an
women,
example.
how many times all the sayings? Oh, don't mind her. She's just on her period. I'm a bit emotional. I'm on her period. Women, emotional women. Women are more emotional. Do you know what I mean? I'm a woman. I'm allowed to go crazy. You've heard all of these things. Do you know what I mean? That's just known. These are all just known.
It's known, but you don't put, like with many things in life, you don't put things into practice until you're actually in a situation.
That's absolutely fine.
That's why I said that kind of.
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't
you're in
really
that situation more than you
There's
think.
one thing knowing something and being aware of something, and there's one thing I guarantee you.
So in
you're straying here. Because because what he's saying is that okay, fair enough. You may not put it into practice until you're married, but you are aware of that.
And there's other times when you can put it into practice. It's not just marriage.
What he's saying is that on the flip side, with men, that women,
but it's not about
women may not be aware that men can have an emotional side, and men might be a little bit irrational, but they might just think that
they are, as you said,
they might just think
from society they are aware.
Are they?
Yes.
That's the point he's making. Are they?
Yes. Why would they not be aware? Because they're females.
No, not because they're women.
Then why?
But because it might just not be.
It's just not at the forefront of their mind.
It might just not be
like a woman. I'd say a woman may be more likely to see a man being irrational or emotional.
Yeah, and say
as being that's his personality and he's just trying to be abusive or something like that.
Yes, because they see it from their view of he's being emotional, where he's not being emotional, he's being rational or logical.
But then,
but that's because they're emotional.
But then a woman who's being,
see it from as if the guy is a female. You get what I'm saying?
No.
Say that again.
So, okay. It might be the case where females see things from everybody else thinks how they think. So man them think, so they're treating situations how they would like it to be treated, or how they would treat it if they were on the other end. Does that make sense?
I get what you mean,
but that won't work because men and females are different.
Yeah, but like for example, the way the example I'll give you is in a situation. For example, so in this situation, like I'd say the parallel male and female situation would be something like some type of emotional blackmail type situation, which is a lot more common. But I'd say something like
I think I want to simplify this because I think.
No, let me. So let's say like do you know what, when I say emotional blackmail, do you know what I mean? So let's say I don't know, a woman who uses an insecurity or something or something like that, or something feminine to manipulate a man to do what she wants, or uses vulnerability or those type of things to manipulate a man. I'd say that a man's first thought in a situation which could be emotional blackmail is rarely going to be emotional blackmail. It'll probably take him a long time to get to that conclusion. Whereas when it's a situation where a man could be using some kind of oppression or that kind of thing, the first thought I would say is more likely to be an initial quick thought of the woman that he's being oppressive or abusive, rather than it's some type of emotional cry for help from himself. Let's deal with his problem.
Yes,
it's more like, do you know what I mean? So and that is what I mean about how in this. So bringing it back to this situation, the first thing that, or what it seems that most people are thinking, and it seems and it tells in their responses is that this man is trying to be an abusive person. He's trying to dominate me as a woman.
Because that's the way they've perceived it.
Yeah, but whereas if I said, a woman, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a parallel situation. A woman demands that the man, I can't think of a parallel situation.
No, I get what you mean.
But do you know what I mean? So, but like that, but the first, men are rarely or unlikely to go, she's emotionally blackmailing him. That's not going to be the first thing that comes into their head, innit? Whereas that is probably a lot more common than people would say. That type of like basically women using certain feminine characteristics or vulnerabilities or blah 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 to manipulate men or get what they want from men. That happens. Of course it happens. But it's not really something, because it's just not our style, innit? It's like we don't jump to the negative of a woman straight away. Whereas, and obviously there's reasons behind this, because women are more vulnerable. Women do have, there's more of a track record or documented record of women being oppressed.
It's not always the case that a man would react like that though, because some men are different. For example, whereas Okay.
But we're trained to see the vulnerabilities or the vulnerabilities and the emotional side of women. Whereas because that emotional side is it just doesn't occur to, like, for in this situation, there was nobody who ever, I think we could leave this poll open for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and nobody will say, is the man alright? Is there a reason he's, do you know what I mean? That will never come up in the reason.
So basically,
From what I've seen of the responses,
always,
it
he's
clearly
abusing
shows you that men and women think differently from the responses. Because a lot of the responses...
But why?
Because men and women are different.
But in terms of men and women are different, but then we're all
said.
influenced by. But in terms of our mindset and how we perceive certain things, objectively, like that, I think society plays a large role in that.
Nah.
yes, and this is what I was trying to explain. That he was saying that society has kind of made us think, or trained us to think, or trained us to see those kind of vulnerabilities in women and see that women can be more emotional. But on the flip side, it's not that same way for women. Women aren't trained to see that men can be emotional. If
And men can be very emotional.
Yeah,
very emotional.
Looking from the outside in, if a wife was to come home,
No one's saying that.
if a wife was to come home from work one day and just start shouting, someone might say, "Oh, she's had a bad day at work. She's being emotional." If a man came in,
you'll think of
and was
excuses,
and was shouting at his wife, you'll say he's abusive, he's oppressive.
No, that's the
But
perfect example.
that's just how it is, though. Like there's many.
It's how it is.
Sometimes
but it's
there's
not fair.
many double. There's many double standards in
yeah.
life. When it comes to, there's many things. When it
Yeah,
comes
there's
to, and some of them are rightly so. A lot of them are not. But it is what it is. Maybe that's what you mean by society. I get you.
Yeah. So I think that's just that was just the kind of side point that I gathered from this question.
When it comes to child custody, a lot of things in life, it's just how it is.
No, go on.
Just quickly, because what I don't want it to be is that. So I think it's dangerous, for example, and because of obviously I don't want to get into the whole feminism thing, but because of the way that because of the way that
I'm not afraid, bro.
I think obviously I don't like the fact that nowadays I think a lot of young women or women in our generation are geared to think that every man is out here trying to oppress me. Because it's not fair on the ones that aren't trying to.
Okay.
Because
but
now
why
everything.
is that so?
Huh?
Why is that? Why is that
so?
the case?
Why?
Why are there a lot of females out there that feel that every man's out there to get me or every man's rubbish? Why is that?
Because men are trash, innit?
Apparently.
But if
Don't you know
if they had
hold on, it's not finished. Let me finish and I'll go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, finish. Don't want to interrupt you. Go on.
Don't you think that if they had good male role models in their life, and because we could say the same, I could definitely say the same because I've come across a lot of trash female. But
But I don't.
It's a valid point.
It depends on many factors in your life. Have you been involved in illicit relationships, obviously from a religious point of view, with other men, and they've treated you a certain way, where you've looked in a silly direction for a man? Have you, or a female, have you been in the case where the only male figures in your life are rubbish, literally just trash? Have you been in...
Assalamu alaikum, people. You're live with the Judge Boys. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe.
I saw a video on Twitter the other day, and hopefully I remember this correctly. This comedian was basically talking about this kind of rhetoric of why women say that all men are trash, and then there will be a certain like group of men out there that will say, why are you saying all men when I'm this way? I'm not like these other men.
I think I've seen this video. Yeah.
What he was basically saying was that fair enough, you might not be a part of these men that are doing nonsense.
I don't care.
But are you doing anything about those other men, or are you just sitting there and saying, "Oh, I'm the hero. I'm not like this. Why don't you?"
Bruh,
X, Y,
I
Z?
don't need to do
So
nothing.
hold on.
Me and my friends are all good men.
Yeah,
Okay,
basically for
that's fine. That's fine.
That's what you said.
Yeah, this is what he was saying. He was saying that he was in a situation where one of his friends raped another one of his friends. One of his male friends raped one of his female friends, and if he had checked his male friend's behavior in the past, has his friend made expensive jokes? Has his friend done stuff to other women in the past? Not has his friend committed other crimes in the past, but
Been a
has
bit-
his friend
been a
just
bit-
just been a bit just been a bit sideways.
I hear you.
If he had checked his friend, then maybe this wouldn't have happened.
Fist
So
man up.
basically, but it's just it's situations like that. It's what are we can say, okay, I can say us men. What are us men that are not trash doing about the men that are trash? Is it enough for us to just sit back and say, oh, we're not trash, why don't you marry us? Rather than doing something about the men that are
No,
trash. Do you know
don't
what I mean?
marry me. You think men are trash? Go over there.
No, but the thing is, yeah, I
But-
see.
and
No,
it was-
no,
I
no,
know-
no,
I
on
thought
a serious
it was
point
a
of
valid
view.
point.
Yeah,
no, it's
you know,
very.
I hear you.
Yeah, go on, Dolo.
On a serious point, I do believe that what is good about us lot, I can only talk about us lot, is we pull each other up on stuff. Like we won't do stuff like we won't play music around each other. We won't do this. We won't. There was times when we were younger, we would go out cinema, and I'll feel to go do something over there, but I'm like, nah, I can't because I'm with the man.
Because I'm with these men.
Bruv, there was a time at camp.
Careful.
Yeah, there was a time at camp.
Careful.
I remember in my what?
Anyway, go ahead.
I'm not saying that. There's a time in my at camp where I was in my car. This was the Fiesta ST, and I wasn't doing nothing mad, but I wasn't doing something I was supposed to be doing. And I saw the man them coming. I was like, oh rah. Press the button. I wasn't listening to music, but I was.
You don't need
You
to.
were just doing something. You were meant to be
Yeah,
doing.
I was talking to someone I wasn't meant to be talking
Yeah.
in it, and then I was just like, I had that shame to just be like, oh, let me cut the call off, let me cut the call off, and I feel like that's just scratching the surface, let alone a guy making derogatory jokes.
Yeah, so
and
I think I understood the situation.
And sometimes-
it was a valid point. It was just I found it a little bit difficult to relate to it because
Which situation?
what I was talking about the video I watched about the
No,
comedian.
I very much hear it.
Sometimes-
of course I do
sometimes-
as well. It's just
Oh,
like I
yeah,
said, it was just difficult for me to relate to it because I don't have any friends
But
that are trashing.
but in the
Yeah.
but let's say this. Let's say
And another thing is, a lot of these females saying men are trash. Not all of them. I don't want to say all of them, but a lot of these ones, they're looking for man in the dustbin, and then they're saying men are trash. Look at the guys you're looking. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
do you know it is? But ideally there shouldn't be trash.
I get it.
But obviously, like realistically, you have to live in the real world, and there's always going to be trash, and you have to adjust yourself to make sure that you're
Yes,
not getting
some
trash.
guys. I'm not even taking this away from the guys. A lot of men. There's some manipulative men.
Personally, I agree with this.
There's some
statement
guys
about
that like
I agree with it.
even I
The
don't
vast majority of men.
I don't want to
You're
do the
ones-
all lives matter thing.
The
But
vast
I
majority
don't.
of men,
But the
that's what I
vast
think.
majority.
Nah,
I don't want to do the all lives matter thing. But a vast majority of people. But with me, yeah.
But
So
I
let's
don't
say
find
let's say if we bring it to the let's say we bring it back to the podcast. So let's say
Sorry, quick.
Let's say
Let me just mention a quick one. Sorry,
you know
just
the lads that let me speak in
literally
15
15
minutes.
seconds.
We
On
need
a
to-
rare-
I
on a
might get
rare-
count of how many times man has cut me off.
On
with that.
a rare scenario, there are some cases where you legit can't tell that a man's got a screw loose in his head. Like
Fam, people-
I'm
yeah.
talking about one of us guys,
Yeah.
and a man can be out here raping people.
You don't know who's out. You don't
So
know who's
it's
doing
not
what, yeah.
always. I hear you when you said that. Anyway, go on.
Sorry, drinking my water. Yeah. So going back to the situation, if I bring it back to this podcast, for example, sorry, going back to that video you was talking about, yeah. So hearing this podcast, yeah, I feel we're balanced, and I feel that we probably even check man more than we. I don't think we check women. I don't think that's what we do here. I think we probably talk about man them more.
Yeah.
Would you say in the balance? So
Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah.
so that I'd say to answer. Let's say if that comedian was, let's say he was asking that question to us as a Jollof after Jummah, yeah. I'd say that is our response in it. That we are primarily here to talk about our experiences and obviously try to give advice that we can give to the man them and
Yeah.
to ourselves, especially to ourselves and the man them. And within that, like, how long did it take for us to mention sisters? It took a while, didn't it?
Took a couple
So
episodes,
so I feel like in saying stuff like, I feel like we've earned the right to make these comments, basically. Like, do you know what I mean?
And to be fair, we wouldn't be talking about sisters like that. Well, we don't even talk about sisters like that. But we wouldn't mention sisters if, number one, most of the majority of our audience weren't sisters. Number one, and number
Man,
two,
them
if
sisters,
we
tell
weren't-
your brothers, man.
if we weren't
Jarring, man.
if we didn't have sisters around us, if we weren't raised around sisters, if that makes sense. Like I mentioned earlier, I have no brothers. You have no brothers.
I've got a brother still.
You got a step brother. Half brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a brother.
Yeah. But again, majority sisters.
Yeah. No.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we just move off that?
Yeah, we can move off it.
We
Yeah.
can wrap that one.
Do you think?
Just
Just quickly, based off what he said, do you think that men that grow up around women treat women better than men that don't?
No.
I don't think.
I
so
think
either.
it helps, but I don't think it's
I
the
don't
be on
think
end all. No,
I
because
feel like
how many men do you see out here that are doing the madness and they got daughters,
They have
let alone
sisters, yeah.
sisters,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
like
people use that as an scapegoat.
to contradict myself, like there's bare men out here, are trashing it. They are in it. Yeah, bare people in it. Fam, cause you know, like more time you can see that sisters sometimes will train a brother on the art of deception, like how to manipulate women. Like, do you know what I mean? Not train, but as in like I think girls do this thing. Girls do this thing, yeah, where girls. It's the maternal instinct, isn't it? Often the man that they love, or like, so let's say their son or their little brother or their brother or that kind of thing, yeah, like they often will not see the nonsense he's doing.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, he's because
My
he's
son?
he's
This
my
is
son.
my son.
Yeah, this is my son. Wouldn't do that. Do you know?
That's normal.
So-
When you've got someone that's close to you, your
Yeah.
judgment is often clouded.
Blind eye.
So
I think I
you
don't.
kind of give a blind eye. You kind of manipulate your mind to give them excuses as to why they're doing this. It's like it's like a lot of parents that have, when unfortunately their children are on the roads, their children die, and they're like, oh, my son was a good boy. Your son was a good boy. Man was fisting men up and selling drugs. Man was running with machetes on the road. He wasn't no good.
It's because
some people
he
have
took
good
the meat
hearts
out when he
and
told him to. That makes him a good boy. Let alone what he's doing outside.
exactly. You see him inside the house. There's
But-
a different side to him that you see compared to the viciousness that man's doing outside.
I think in modern culture, yeah, or modern society, I think sometimes people do overplay. This might be a controversial opinion, but I think sometimes people do overplay the impact of a family on somebody. Because I do feel, especially for example, in a modern society, let's say like urban London youth growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, yeah, both parents working, you got a brother and a sister, but with internet, our parents are working full time. You're out on the weekends or you're playing out with your friends on the weekends. How much?
That is the
How much? No, and so what I'm saying is that.
That
How,
can
so
make-
let's no, but how much? I think your the amount of time you're interfacing with your family compared to other things is so much that why would you assume that this family who you're spending 2 hours a day with and maybe an hour on the
That's the
weekends
problem.
is gonna have more of an impact? Yeah. So when
Family
people
is
say
everything.
so when people say like, for example, having more sisters maybe will make you more care about women, more care about the I don't know, to care about the plight of a woman more than if you didn't have sisters. That might be the case, but not if you're not spending that much time with your sister because it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So like it depends, innit? And because it depends so much, I don't think you can reliably say this man has brothers and sisters, so he should be more likely to care about women or to be nicer and less abusive to women.
A lot of the time,
I just asked the question because I've heard people saying it before, but I don't believe it either.
A lot of the time, how is man treating his mum and sisters?
Yeah,
Like
Man's treating his mum
got
and sisters like dirt. So
How many
How do
sisters-
you expect a man like that to treat any other strange woman?
How many
that
sisters do
she's-
I have? And I'm still probably, people say that I'm more like my cousins than my sisters because I grew up, I was with my cousins all the time. And I got bare sisters, but do you know what I mean? I wouldn't say they did necessarily rubbed off on me.
yeah.
Coming back to what you said before, you mentioned that family's not everything. I disagree. I think family
It
is
can be and should
majority
be.
of the and the thing that you mentioned that kind of contradicts that is you mentioned a man's got a family, but both parents are outside working. Man's on the internet 24/7. That's not how it's meant to be.
But
That's-
it's just how
that's
it
a
is, though.
that's a
That's
recipe
reality,
to-
though.
Potential disaster because you've got the children. He's raising the children. The children are raising themselves. The children are being raised by their children are raising themselves.
The streets, man.
and even worse, children are being raised by the internet. That's a recipe for the disaster right there.
What he's saying is that's a lot of
I'm not
people's
saying
reality.
that's reality.
That's
though.
a lot. That's reality for a lot of people.
Okay, so that means the family is everything. If man's spending time with his family, man's being raised in a home of peace and tranquility and wisdom.
see that the fact that the family isn't everything. That's why, for example, there was such an emphasis on like youth and things like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That we do in the mosque. That's why the
Youth,
emphasis.
friends.
Yeah.
That's the other part
Because
of it.
I-
Because
what-
you can come from a good family. Do you know a lot of people that are come?
That's another one.
What?
You've cut me off like 20 times today, bro. So I'm going to lock off the podcast.
You know a lot of people that come from good families
Uh-huh.
and are in jail, or a lot of good sisters that come from good families and now they're rebellious and doing the madness.
That's exactly what he's
So-
saying.
Yeah, I agree
That's
with me.
exactly what he's saying.
So it's,
Yeah.
it is majority of the family, but again, like you said, community, friends is companies.
I think it's time. Whatever you spend the most time doing is whatever you're going to rub up for you. I think.
But you're
Quality
in
time,
an
anyway.
ideal world, you're spending most of the time around your family.
But in
In an ideal world, is this world ideal?
In an ideal world, let's
Nah,
talk
when I-
about
when I
how
think-
how we're meant to live.
yeah, how we should strive. But let's say that from the ages of 8 to 14, for example, for myself, how much time did I spend with my dad?
Yeah, your teenage years, yeah.
And that's
Bruv.
what we should be improving
Like secondary school.
Yeah,
as future fathers, inshallah.
yeah, sure. That's the aim.
And that's why it comes to, again, as I mentioned before, who do you choose for your spouse?
Mm-hmm.
What do you? That's one of, if not the most important things when it comes to raising children. Because who's their role model?
right.
And their mother. Who's going to be raising their children most of the time? Their mother.
Oh, okay.
Who's
Unless
gonna
they're
be-
at work.
Huh?
So unless they're at work.
At the end of the day, you're the main provider. Like you're the breadwinner.
Boy,
Like
I'm
you're-
not sure anymore, you know.
it's the truth.
Hey.
We can sugarcoat it all
Talk
we
to
like.
the streets will tell you
We
otherwise.
can
You know?
when it comes to when it comes to setting up your will and all of this stuff, who's gonna inherit what? I think it's in Surah Al-Ma'idah there where it stipulates what your will is meant to be, how much who's meant to get what, etc. If that's not look, there's many. I could go on and on, but anyway, long story short, a male's meant to be the main breadwinner. A woman, if she wants to, that's why a woman's money is your wife's money is hers, and your money is yours and the family's. Yours, your kids, and your
Yeah, that
wife's.
is, yeah.
So
See her for the newly married, bro.
Oh, okay.
okay, but anyways, yeah.
It's like you're mad.
Huh?
It's like you're mad.
I could go on and go on.
It is what it is.
Not to say that. Not sorry. I just need to stipulate. Not to say that.
Because I
Big man.
Just as a quick side note, yeah. Have you man heard about the what's going on with China
No.
or the new update? So like where is it? So this is BBC. Yeah. So in China is forcing hundreds and thousands of Uyghurs and other minorities to pick cotton.
Yeah, I did hear this.
To
cotton.
pick, to basic. Do you know?
Just taking a piss now. Just taking a mic.
But one of the main things that the black people in America were doing or as part of the slave trade.
They're taking a mic. They're literally just taking a mic.
And have you heard? You know
They've been taking a mic, bro.
You know what's his
From
name?
when they're in concentration.
What's that
camps.
footballer's name? The French one, Barcelona, Griezmann. He severed his ties with what's that company called? Huawei.
Oh yeah.
Because apparently, allegedly, they are the ones using they're the ones who are developing the facial recognition technique, facial recognition software that allows them to identify or to track the Uyghur Muslims, to track them and pick them up.
Yeah, but how can you track someone who's Muslim? Because
Face ID.
Face ID.
Yeah, but someone could just revert.
No, all of them. No, that it's the
Born
people.
Muslims.
No, it's the. So all of them that you're a Uyghur Muslim, you get registered. So they're all registered. So they've all
So you have to register and stay.
No, but the government has registered them. The government make sure they know where they live, where they are, everything about
But
them.
you can't track every single Muslim. Plus, people convert.
No, they're all in an. No, it's the Muslim. This tribe of people.
Muslims in a specific.
So it's like
area.
imagine Hausa people, they're all in an area, and they're tracking them, and they're not allowed to freely travel anyway. So that they're not. So they know where they go, they know what they do. they track their movements, and if there's anything untoward, it makes it easy for them to pick up because they know where they live. They're all registered. Everything about them is. It's almost like they're microchipped. That's basically the way it is. Subhanallah.
Wow, that's mad.
Fam. In 2020.
Yeah.
And no one, like it's literally, how like people always say, like, so imagine, like, you would think, for example, that if you grew up in the 1700s or whatever, in the slave trade, that you would be, and you wasn't, like, do you know what I mean, a part of it, you'd think that you'd be actively, do you know what I mean, doing something to stop it, innit?
Yeah.
Fam, it's basically happening.
It's what?
It's basically happening. It's the same thing. Or, like, you'd think that if you was around in like Germany, and you had obviously Hitler's a bit different because it's like chat s get banged type thing. But if you'd think that, you know what I mean, you'd be actively, if you could, be against it. But fam, I don't know. I don't know if it's a case of us being powerless, or if it's a case of people are just so like caught up with their own life that they don't care, or is it a combination of both? So I don't know. It's ridiculous, man.
It is.
It's.
Boy.
I kind of feel like it's just because. Also, like, what influence can we have from over here? Because China, them man, they just do their own thing in it, and they don't allow other governments to interfere.
They're very self-sufficient as a country.
They don't allow any governments to
socially,
to interfere
culturally,
with their business. So it's just like
financially, they're very independent.
It's just like we can raise awareness, but are our governments actually going to get involved? And even if they wanted to, can they? Do you know what I mean? Can they influence anything?
I guess the only way I really think you could probably hurt China, is by
no one cares.
No, but
we're not hearing about
no,
this.
but the only way you could hurt them is by
Economy.
finance, because you can't, because culture, like, see how this country is very much culturally influenced by everywhere else, and like similar, and like financially it's obviously very dependent on other places, and then also culturally, financially, and
I think, but the problem with that is financially, China produce a lot of products. They are a producer. They're not a consumer. They're more of consumers than
producers.
They're more of producers than consumers. So saying that, it's not like he can block exports into their country. You can't.
But if you
maybe you can block
this is the
them
reason
importing.
We're not
but
hearing about it on major news outlets
Yeah.
because there's nothing they can do, and these man, they don't want to annoy China, because if China can influence football teams in this country, then what can the government of this country do? What can they actually do?
So I don't know. I'm asking, but I don't have the answer myself.
Yeah.
Like, obviously we can turn to Allah the Messiah and make dua.
Literally everything you touch either has components that say made in China or it says on it made in China.
Yeah.
So.
But I don't know. So as Muslims, do you think as Muslims we should be boycotting all Chinese items and Chinese goods?
Yeah, boycotting never works, man. No.
It doesn't work when
let's
No. Hold on. Boycotting doesn't work in terms of when it's not done properly, but a proper boycott can work.
Yeah, but boycotting works, but can we boycott properly? No, because a lot of people are not prepared to sacrifice.
Why? Or because
we're humans. Naturally, humans don't.
Yeah, but if you care enough,
new humans are not. Not everybody cares enough.
Yeah, so is it because people don't care enough?
It's almost impossible for everybody to care enough to make a difference.
I'm saying as Muslims, do we not care enough?
It's not that people. It doesn't matter. We're human.
No, but he's talking about this
I'm talking about specific situation.
Yes,
and he's right.
It doesn't matter.
He's right, because
any scenario. It's not that Muslims don't care, but do some Muslims care enough to sacrifice, even if it's just little, I don't know, bar of soap that's made in China and boycott and buy something else? Are some Muslims prepared to do that? No. You need a large percentage of Muslims to be able to do that.
Yeah, of course, we understand that.
And you're not going to get the numbers to boycott to make a difference. I don't think. Look at the other day. We're talking Muslims. Like, look at the other day. Boycott all French products. Are we hearing anything of that now? No.
What?
Remember the whole French thing, the French president.
Yeah.
And everyone said boycott all French products.
Yeah.
Did that work? And that's just
I think
that's
people
tiny.
are doing it, but not on a mass scale.
we-
But the
if
thing is,
we're doing it
the
on
thing
a
is
mass
with that
scale,
one,
we
with that
would-
one,
we
I
would
don't
still
think
be
that.
hearing
I
about
think
it.
that. I
We
don't
would
think that
hear about
everyone.
the effects
I don't
of
think that
the
one ever
boycott.
caught on. It never just caught on.
Why didn't it catch on? If that can't catch on, and that's insignificant compared to this. It's not insignificant, but
Yeah.
compared to this, it's nothing. It's a teardrop in the ocean.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of reasons why I think. Yeah. Go on.
I think one of the main reasons is maybe because we are not unified enough as a Ummah to call for these kind of things and have like a mass boycott. Do you know what I mean? Because if I
You mean
watch,
in the Muslim community?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we're unified enough to call for like a mass boycott and have everyone listen. Do you know what I mean? Because we have so many conflicting ideas, and we're in the age of social media where everybody just does nonsense in broad daylight. It's just like there's nowhere near enough unity for maybe if we. I'm not saying that we should have a one central figure, but we're not unified enough as a community for someone to say, oh, I think in protest to what's happening to the Muslims in China, we should boycott all Chinese products and have everyone listen. I don't think that can happen.
There's no one central.
Yeah.
As mad as this sounds,
But there should be, and there was. Yeah, there should.
as mad as this sounds, I don't think anything's gonna happen in regards to boycotting unless none of these things actually work, unless it affects us physically. And as mad as it sounds, technically it does affect us because there are brothers and sisters. But unless it affects us physically, where
Directly, yeah.
we're having things inflicted upon us in the same way they are, I don't think people are gonna naturally understand the gravity of the situation and deeply care
Like we we're
to the point where the numbers would
identified
make
as
a difference.
Muslims, as Muslim men and women, and we're referred to in the Quran, Sunnah as brothers in it.
Yeah.
And obviously
That's what I said.
that wording is like nothing in the Quran. Allah didn't say anything by an accident. Do you get me? It's all intentional.
Oh, of course.
So brothers, yeah. But
The
it's
Quran
mad
is
that
perfect.
we use this word in it, brothers. But you know, like even the way we use this word, it's become such a meaningless word.
Use,
You know,
yeah.
the word brother has become, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Brother,
Yeah.
Not to
inshallah. it's
everyone.
just-
not to everyone.
because even from when you go like, do you know him? Yeah, he's one of the brothers. Oh, he's your bro. Like, yeah, he's my bro. He's my bro. Like, he's my bro. Even a sentence like that shows you how the word brother doesn't really mean anything. Because from when you have to say, no, that's my brother, like, or something like that, for you to understand that as brother. Do you know what I mean? Like, it don't mean anything anymore. Man. And it's sad, like,
I think
sad,
it's just
like,
to
because if it was happening
get what you're saying,
to your actual blood brother,
I get what you're
you'll
saying,
boycott,
but-
innit? Or we will boycott. I'm speaking for myself as well. It's sad, man.
I get what you're saying, but the thing is that it's just I don't like to admit it because I know what it means to me and the way I use it. That's what I'm saying. I don't.
I think of myself as using the word brother as a thing as well, but then at the same time I can't ignore the dilution of the word in everyday language as well.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Do you get me?
No, that's fair.
Because it, like, yeah.
That's the reason I think, to be honest, and like I said, the uni. Well, you said you had a bunch of reasons why you think that nothing has been done as well.
No,
I also
because,
no, go on.
I think it's just like the fact that nowadays, because of the way that society is, because society is so fractionated, there's so many. Everybody's part of so many different things. Like everybody, Jamie, that's like everybody identifies as so many different things, or is part of so many different things that I think something like being a Muslim sometimes can become one of a list of things to identify you as, instead of the thing to identify you as. Do you know what I mean? So to the point where instead of it being Muslim Ummah, it'll be
Divided.
There's black Muslims, there's Asian Muslims, there's Arab Muslims, there's the Turkish Muslims, there's the Revant Muslims,
Then you have
there's
the
the
sects.
do you know what I mean?
Then
There's the Ahmadiyya Muslims, there's the Sunni Muslims, there's Shia Muslims, there's the
He's a Mubtadi.
there's the. Do you know what I mean? So like, so and on top of that, there's the I'm a Muslim, but I'm a liberal Muslim. I'm a Salafi Muslim. I'm a Muslim, but I'm also a Muslim who cares about women's rights. Okay, I don't either. I mean, I like it, but all of that. Do you know what I mean? I'm a Muslim, but I'm. Do you know what I mean? There's so many. Yeah. There's so many divisions within that even from like these are the Uyghur Muslims, and it's almost like this is the Uyghur Muslims, the Chinese Muslims, and it's like, oh yeah, I feel sorry for the Chinese Muslims, but it's like, damn, we're all meant to just be one. And obviously, I sound like one of them prosperity preachers or whatever. Like, I sound like one of them, man. And I'm not gonna say I have the answers, but see, sometimes it's good to.
You ain't got the answers, Sway.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to remind yourself of of where we've gone wrong and reflect, and hopefully when you reflect you saw where you came from in the mirror and
I think
try to go back
the least
there.
we can do is make dua. But even that's a tall order. Even that's an ask.
How many times do people say make dua and you say I'll make dua and people do actually do it?
That's why when anybody asks me to make dua for them or whatever, I usually try and make the effort to do it there and then.
Innit?
So that I don't forget later, or so that it doesn't become a chore, if that makes sense. As bad as it sounds. Because at least there I get it done and out the way. And then if I remember later, I can do it again.
And I think the second thing I was going to say is like a possible reason is the fact that obviously it's just an age where we are given so much information that to even process, like you process one thing and before you've even processed that thing, you're told something else. There's just so much information.
Not only that, you just get desensitized to stuff.
Yeah, and no, that's why you get so desensitized, because there's so much. Like you'll hear about, for like even on my news, like look, if I just go to my newsfeed there, for example.
Too much information or not? In this specific case, though, is it too much information or not enough information?
No, too much information in terms of there's so much. Like you're just getting pumped with so much information. Like I touched BBC, so. Government urged to reverse rash decision to relax corona restrictions. Next, redundancies hit record highs. Millions face tougher virus restrictions. Next, China is forcing hundreds of Uyghur Muslims. The thing I just read out. 34 million people will be under tier 3. This person's died. I mean, there's so
much going on.
That it's just like
I was talking to a couple of other brothers about this. Literally today's order. There's just so much going on in the world right now. Like just that's true.
Falls by the wayside,
flooding you with information that you just. It also makes you want to give. It also almost makes you want to just kind of just give up, and just be like, whatever. I don't care.
That's why I hate. I remember I was speaking to my mum, and I was like, I told her one day, like, I think I left the house and I came back and the news was on. I said, Mum, I'm banning you from watching the news.
Turn it off, 'cause
you got 1 hour a day.
This is the same. This is the thing with COVID now as well.
Fam, people are just sitting at home, trapped at home for 5 months. Yeah,
I'm tired of it now.
Yeah, people are trapped at home for 5 months, listening to news about people dying.
I'm tired of it now.
Did we not just go out and eat 16 man up?
I'm actually tired. I'm actually tired.
Are they gonna come back? Are they gonna go back to the past and find all of us?
You man went for dinner, bro. How was it?
I'm tired of it at this point, and I think everyone is tired of it. Like, I don't think the general public is actually scared of COVID anymore.
It reaches. It's like it goes. Nobody cares. And so information.
Listen, it went from people wearing bins on their head at the beginning to
information, and people are like, don't care. And as the information goes, scared, don't care anymore. That's how it is. That's how it is. And
these men are unserious anyway. I saw something. These men are talking about a UK-wide Christmas bubble. What does that mean? A UK-wide Christmas bubble.
Stupidest
you know,
thing.
that man in Germany have locked down the entire country.
Yeah.
Despite
the whole of Germany.
Lock off.
Their countries, yeah. I think they're gonna do it here as well.
They've locked it down completely. Despite Christmas, they've locked it down. But these men are still trying to make.
I was planning to go Germany as well.
These men are still trying to make exceptions for Christmas.
I was gonna go on
even though we're going into tier 3, it doesn't make sense. Even this tier system made no sense in the first place. You're allowing 15 people for a wedding, but
are you sure Germany's locked off
completely?
Bro, I know. I was gonna go with some people that went because they went to a racetrack there for a track day.
It was on the news a couple of days ago.
Surely, if Germany was closed off, you wouldn't be able to catch the Eurotunnel to France and go through the borders there.
Yeah, but remember, there's a central
Germany needs to
there's
go
a
into
central
lockdown
trouble.
over Christmas.
No, these men are going on racetracks.
He said over Christmas. So it
Germany
probably
is-
hasn't come into a thing yet.
No, I'm talking about a week ago.
Yeah, it's not coming to thing yet.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant now.
They
I'm
might,
pretty sure they did.
They might find their flights cancelled.
Maybe it was Christmas, yeah, but they might have gone into lockdown.
They normally
either
give
way.
notice
They went
before
on
they,
a
they
no-
normally
These
give
man are-
notice.
these man are going into lockdown. Wait, this country can. You know, this country. My brother was saying this today. This country can riot if these man go into lockdown over Christmas. I firmly believe these men can riot.
They love their pagan celebrations, boy.
Wow.
Whoa.
I mean, it is a pagan celebration, but yeah,
Yeah, factually, yeah.
yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. You are now locked into the Jollof After Jummah podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, rate us, all of them good things.
Christmas.
there.
Yeah,
Love.
in fact, on Christmas, yeah. How
Fam.
do you feel? Obviously,
Yeah, go on.
you in your workplace, do you work within like a big team?
Yes and no.
So like, do you like this year? This year is like I've made a conscious decision. Yeah, obviously this is my stance always, but I've made a kind of even more conscious decision. Yeah, to make sure that I'm just trying to like basically separate myself or distance myself from all not from all specifically Christmas related activities. Yeah, fam,
You should be
it's
anyway.
literally pumped down your throat.
Yeah.
You can't escape. For like
What, like Christmas dinners?
so no, there's Christmas dinners and all that stuff, which was always easy for me,
Christmas
easy to
parties.
easy
Don't
to
go.
avoid. Yeah, it's easy
Yeah.
to not go there. But then there's like for example, like not doing. So this is the first year, yeah, at my work where I've been part of a team. Like normally up till now, because I've been junior, I've just been like someone that rotates through different teams. So I'm never really part of a team. So now I'm part of a team, and so almost like I have an office where I'm based, and do you know what I mean, stuff like that. Stuff like not being involved in the Secret Santa. Do you know how difficult that was?
You know that Santa thing? You know I learned the maddest thing the other week? You know that Santa thing is like a recent thing, like the last 50 to 100 years. That the whole Santa
it's a bit older than
Santa
that.
man thing is Coca-Cola.
It's a Santa man. It's a Santa
I'm
man.
not calling my
Oh,
father- I'm not
no,
calling
no,
my
no,
father
no, no.
Christmas.
What's new is the red. The red is the thing that's 100 years old.
No, the
Because
actual
Coca-Cola
the actual
rebranded him.
Father Christmas.
No, because
Why
he
am I-
was
Santa
based on
Christmas, man.
Saint Nicholas,
Nicholas, yeah. And I think that's
Based
he's
on
older.
Saint Nicholas.
He's older.
So that man and the reindeer thing is all Coca-Cola.
no,
Which
so
means
no,
these men are celebrating a religious thing based on Coke on a brand.
No, so Father Christmas was there. So like even if you
man,
think of
Santa
like
man. Santa
like
man.
Oliver Twist and that. What's his name?
Santa
Santa Man. Santa Man. It sounds like some yardie thing. Santa Man. So Santa Man was there, but yeah, he was about, yeah. But then the whole wears a hat, a red hat, big, he's fat, and he wears red, and he
where did
wears
the
red.
St. Nicholas thing come from?
That's
That's
because
what-
he's
that's
he's
the- that's the
So
origin.
that's the religious.
That's the origin.
that's the
Okay,
he's
yeah.
the saint who used to deliver
So-
Kevin presents or something. Let me
Used to
read.
trespass in people's
Yeah,
houses.
trespass and,
No,
and
deep,
deliver.
deep how mad this is. A man climbs down a chimney
Oh, yeah.
Eats your food.
to chat to little kids, your kids.
What? He doesn't
I don't think he chats to the
Deep-
kids.
no,
He
deep
doesn't
how-
chat to the kids.
So
Like,
wait,
not that I'm a fan of Santa Claus here.
No,
but
no,
you
no.
don't chat to the kids though.
no, that's hella suspect. A man climbs down a man climbs
That's
down
why I
the
said
family
trespassing.
chimney
That's why I said trespassing.
No,
to give presents to your kids.
Yeah, he's a criminal. He's a
No,
criminal.
it's more than that, bro. Man's a pedo.
And it only comes when you're sleeping.
He comes to sleeping little kids, says, if you've been a good boy, I got something for you. Do you know how mad that sounds?
Boy, I can't comment. But
This is a
but it
Jimmy
does-
Savile
it does-
thing, bro.
It does sound a bit mad. But yeah.
Santa Savile.
Wow.
No,
yeah,
but I just did this. This is mad.
he
A man's coming here saying to kids,
I said
have you been a
Santa
good
Savile. What
boy
the
this
hell?
year? I got something for you. I got and is it you give the man the Santa man biscuits or pies? What is it? Pies,
He leave biscuits and milk.
cookies and milk.
biscuits
on
and
the-
cookies
on
and
the
milk.
table with the
So
man
your
to
kid
serve.
gives cookies and milk to some next man
And
that
he
climbed down your
eats it
chimney.
to show that he was there. Yeah, I don't know why I know this. So these
Sounds hella
Yeah,
suspect.
with
Boy.
TV and that, innit? But yeah, but anyway, he so that concept was there, but then in terms of him wearing red and that type of thing, that was
Well, Coke came
that-
up with that.
yeah, all the red, yeah, they rebranded it and made it a current thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
but anyway, so like
That's mad.
fam, yeah, so to get out of it at work, yeah, as in it was like do you know this? And I say it because it's a public service announcement to the Muslims. Yeah, that it's like if I find it annoying, not annoying, but it's because it's difficult in it, and I sympathize with it. Yeah, but as Muslims, yeah, we need to stop like pandering to these things. Because, and it's like, and a lot of people think that, like, because, for example, at work, they do, for example, like, they would allow us to do, like, an Eid something or whatever. That's cool, innit?
There's no allow, bro.
Mm.
I'm too angry.
The reason I say allow is, what I mean when I say allow is that they facilitate it, they get on board with it, they come and they try to learn. So, like, at mine, we did a thing where we actually taught them about the meaning of Eid, the Prophet
nice.
Ibrahim and all that stuff, like the actual background. So cool. So that's what I mean by that, as in they get on board. But in terms of like that doesn't necessarily mean and people that we now have to do their one, innit? Because at the end of the day,
no
it's
one
like
asked you to. No one asked you to facilitate it for us. We can just take a day off and go celebrate Eid ourselves. I get it. It's a form of dawah.
So what I'd say, for
just
example,
because you facilitated Eid for us.
But you have to. What I'd say, you have to be careful because, for example, at my workplace, and I'll say is this is them facilitating, and I will say I'm grateful. I have to be balanced in it. They will, for example, let's say, for example, like this has happened to me before. Like there's been no space in the calendar, like based on the department rules, for somebody to come and be off on Eid, but they will pull strings and stuff to allow it in it. Stuff like that. That is them facilitating it, and I can be grateful to that in it. And I'm grateful, and I've said thank you, but that doesn't now mean that I have to.
I'm not obligated
to do your thing in it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like,
what are you doing?
My earphones are too loud. Which one's this?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's like the reason people can facilitate or allow or be happy to do your thing, is because they may not necessarily feel any tight affinity towards their thing.
Yeah.
So but me as Muslims, we need to obviously our religion, we need to hold it close to our hearts and hold it dear to us and be guarded over it. And in part of that means that you don't dilute it essentially by showing yourself to be in cahoots with them, and even forget your own personal opinions. But what you do is that, for example, me not wanting to do what's it called, Secret Santa, for
Christmas
example, makes me seem like some kind of terrorist.
Yeah.
When it just, do you know what I mean? And that's the effect of people being too slight with their own with Islam makes people that are not strict, just on job or trying to be on job with their religion, makes them seem like terrorists. I have to leave to this meeting to go pray Maghrib. Aisha says she can just pray later. Okay, it's not I don't know, Frank and Suzanne in the meeting that I'm going to be upset with. It's Aisha, because Aisha's made it. She's given them the wrong impression, and now, do you know what I mean? You've just messed it up for the rest of us.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're just reaching, because Aisha might be the only one who's not on job. But then you have like there might be 6 Muslims, and out of the 6, 4 of them pray and do their thing.
They're ignorant. They're ignorant, so they don't know. So if you don't know the religion,
no, but they're stupid, because there's 2 that are not. No, there's 2 that are not doing. There's 2 that are not doing anything.
Yeah.
And they can, if they have intellect, they can clearly see that they're not doing what they're meant to do. And there's 4 that are.
You're asking them, like, they don't care, so they're not gonna read into it. It's because they're not gonna. It's not their job to read into it. To read into our religion, because when it's not their concern.
Not about reading into the religion.
If 4 people,
there's 2 people.
This is a scenario you've made up, by the way.
Yeah.
No. But a lot of the time, this is the case.
Even within his, I'd say it's more likely the other way.
Yeah, more likely it's his way.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Even within that scenario, Look, my department has how many? 30 Muslim, 40 Muslim, maybe probably more than that men. How many of them are at Jummah?
Exactly. Fact.
4,
Fact.
5, 6.
Fact.
So
fact.
Look, if everybody I work in a big hospital, in a healthcare setting. There are bare Muslims, but then it's rare that we'll fill up. Only in Ramadan will we fill up a prayer room that can fit 16 people in it for a prayer.
Yeah.
And Jummah, look, even from technically the same amount of people at a Maghrib Jummah shouldn't be like the Maghrib Jummah shouldn't be much less packed than Jummah Friday.
be honest,
But Jummah has about 150 people there, 100 people there.
To be fair,
I would be surprised if any manager even said what you said.
What
you said there, that if she doesn't do it, why are you doing it? I'd be very. They might think it.
No, they'll think no, but they think it. But they do think it. No, they won't say it out loud. They won't say. But then it's like, but for what you've now done. Because for example, if I now feel that the worst one is you could be in a meeting, for example. Or you could be in a setting where you're around Muslims. I could be in an office, and this happened. Imagine for example, I've just had a conversation with, with Olu, my manager Olu. I'm telling Olu about how I can't do the secret center because of this.
Yeah.
And then we both go and we both meet in the tea room, and then Fatima is talking about what she's gonna get. Joanne for the secret center. It's like, do you know what I mean? You just made our life difficult. Yeah. And there are people who are in different situations who are going to be, like weaker in man or whatever in certain situations who, because of those pressures or not wanting to seem like that, are going to just go with the crowd because it's like, I don't want to seem like this.
Do you know what? Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but in what I that wouldn't, for me, if I saw something like that and something similar has happened to me before, I wouldn't see it as you've just made my life more difficult. I would just say, me and that person are not the same people. That's what I would say. So like, for example,
but not everyone's that strong.
When I've been younger, maybe around 18, when I used to work in retail, and this is gonna come back to another point I want to make about full disclosure with your managers and things like that. So like when I first started working,
that's a good point.
When I was like 18, when I was working in retail, I wouldn't tell whoever I was interviewing from the start that I'm gonna need so and so time in the day to go and pray. I would find time in the middle of the day to just kind of maybe like sneak away. When I got a bit more comfortable in the job, I would ask my managers. I'll be like, "Can I have 5 minutes to go and pray?" And they'd be okay with it. But in that beginning period of time, I wouldn't. I would just sneak away. And people would ask me. They would be like, "Oh, why are you doing this?" And so that's also Muslim and covers their hair is not doing that. That's got nothing to do with me. That's not my business.
One good thing
they don't pray. I do. That was it. I didn't say that specifically, but that was just my rationale. I was like, yeah, we're not the same people in it. And it goes back to what you were saying about the way that you carry your religion from the jump, from the jump, and it's difficult.
They see you're serious.
It's difficult. It's difficult if you try and flip flop in the middle. It's from the start. You need to let them. You need to let people know. And this was how I changed when I got my job last year. From the jump, I let them know in the interview that look.
Religion's serious.
I'm gonna need time in the day to go and do X, Y, and Z to go and pray. Will I be able to have time on Fridays? Will I be able to have my lunch at a certain time so that I can make Jummah? Luckily, at the time, my manager was Muslim. He was like, "Yeah, that's absolutely fine. You can do that." But
that's a good bit of advice actually.
Yeah.
One good thing is, I'll pick up there. One good thing is, I've never actually heard of anyone facing issues with workplace saying they can't pray. Maybe Eid here and there, but I can't really talk from my perspective because I've never worked properly at that for a long duration of time. But one thing I've heard is I've never actually heard, if someone's serious, they will cater for you. If you say, look, I need to pray, if they get the impression from you that it's a priority, it's the priority in your life, and there's no other option.
We're back.
As I was saying, the second thing is that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's recording. Second thing is, I think we just have to accept that you're never gonna please people. Like as Abdul Malik said, there's no point in trying to pander. Like, if it's gonna make you seem aggy, it is what it is. Cause you're never gonna. They're gonna invite you to all kinds of stuff. They're gonna ask you why you can't shake women's hands. They're going to look at you sideways for not shaking the opposite gender's hands. They're going to look at you sideways for not attending Christmas parties, not going out for drinks at the bar, all of this nonsense, not going on holiday trips. It is what it is.
It's peak though.
It is what it is.
I was talking to my brother about this the other day. It's peak.
Why is it peak?
Because like Huh?
What?
It puts us at a disadvantage, man. Like
How? Disadvantage how?
It does, man. These man can finish work at
Because
5.
you can't network.
These man can
is what it
hold
is.
on. These man can finish work at 5 and go pub until 11. You think they're not going to talk about business at some point? You can miss promotions in these kind of things. It's peak. It is. I'm just being. I'm not saying that because it's peak that we should now join them. I'm just saying. I'm making a point. It is peak. This stuff happens.
In the corporate world.
This stuff
In the
happens.
corporate world, it's very. But obviously, it's not for you.
Find another way.
Yeah.
There's corporate events that you can go to where it's not going to be.
You
it's
can't deny though that it does put us at a disadvantage. I'm not
a
saying
slight disadvantage, yes, but it is where
It's
it
not a
is.
slight
Number one, and number two, there are going to be other events where you can find opportunities to network and put
Yeah,
yourself.
but them man might be at them
put yourself
ones
in
as
a
well.
it's
loop.
not a slight disadvantage.
It's
Not a slight disadvantage. I've lost my job compared to people, and I've lost my job doing more work in the workplace
I
compared to other
apologise, and
people.
I'm trying
So
to-
it's
I'm
not a
trying
slight
to, my bad.
disadvantage. It puts us at a disadvantage, bro.
Okay.
Because man goes pub with them after work, but does half the work that I do. They
Okay,
like him
I
more than
didn't-
they like me.
I didn't understand.
It's stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright,
It's like just when you think about it, yeah. If you're because obviously we think about Islam and the obligations that we have as things that are central. But if you put yourself in the mind of somebody who just thinks who either disagrees, thinks it's a waste of time, or thinks it's nonsense, or thinks that who just it might even think that you're just doing it because you want to get extra 5 minutes off, or you're just doing it to be difficult. Because do you know, like, for example, if somebody has to leave because, and this is, I guess, a issue that, you know, it's probably why women often will feel that they have a disadvantage in workplace and stuff like that, or they have, you know, like, or they'll be not well, or, you know, period pains, that kind of stuff, and they'll have to come in because it's like, as much as it's natural, and it's natural to us, or it could be a natural body thing or that type of thing, yeah. If it inconveniences somebody in some way, they will, as time goes on, their sensitivity towards it, especially the more it inconveniences them, they just won't care anymore, and they'll just see it as an inconvenience. That's just it's just human behavior. It's just human nature.
Yeah.
It will take a very, very, very nice, genuine person to be able to completely sympathize and empathize with another person, even when it negatively affects their own life. So,
I think my advice is what I was saying before. To people, if you're going for job interviews, retail jobs, office jobs, make it your priority, and you tell them that's your priority, and they have to give you, if you're working there all day and they need to give you 5 bursts of 5-minute breaks, they have to give it to you, and if they don't, you pull them up on it. You say, do you give people smoking breaks?
Don't just tell them.
If you can give people smoking breaks, you can give me space to go and pray.
Don't just tell them as well. Let them see it from their actions, because often what they will do is they'll take the mick if they see you're not serious. Yeah, I need to pray 5 times a day, but raw bacon, or you having a drink? Yeah, let me try a bit. They're not. That's gonna degrade your points. They're gonna see what they can get away with, and they're gonna see, okay, he takes his religion seriously, but he's not that serious. Maybe I can get away with this psychologically in their head. When people see that you don't prioritize something as much as you say you do, it shows that you're less genuine. And when in life in general, when you're seen as less genuine, people are gonna see what they can get away with.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, yeah. And also, another thing as well, there's a common misconception. It's never too late to instate or to apply these measures into your life and to apply these.
I think
so. It's never too late. So even if you was out with the drinks yesterday, you was out in the pub,
Don't let them see
or
it.
you went to the Christmas party last year, it doesn't mean that you can't this year now say, I'm not going to Christmas party.
I know I said before that it's difficult to flip flop in the middle. It is difficult, and maybe the right phrase was flip flopping was the wrong phrase to use. You might reach a turning point in your journey, and you might want to change certain things about life. And
you're allowed to grow.
You're allowed to grow. Yeah, it's just it is more difficult.
We're allowed to grow.
It is more. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Another thing I'll say is,
it is more difficult, but if you do what you need to do, basically, do what you need to do.
Another
And
thing
don't
I'll
let
say,
that deter you.
Another thing I'll say quickly is, just apart from the workplace, these extracurricular events, think of it as this: if you're sacrificing because of your religion and it's burning you inside because you really want to go to these things,
It's the
or you
best
really want to
sacrifice you
reap
can
that,
make.
and you really want to, you're finding it hard to make that sacrifice. Think of it this way: you're going to have to make, as a Muslim, if you really want to strive and if you really want to live your life according to how we should be living as Muslims, you're gonna have to make them sacrifices anyway.
And that's the best. And that's the
because
best.
you're gonna have a family. You're not gonna be able to go to the pub and at 5 and leave at 11. These men can do that, but they're not Muslim. These men can do that, but you're gonna see how their children will turn out. So, no, it's true. Because all that time, that's time away from your children. That's time away from your spouse. That's time away from your responsibilities. So you see how their life turns out.
Sure, in the pub from 5 to 11, you have no responsibilities. I can't lie. You probably have no responsibilities.
I went to an internship at an investment bank. These men were married and they were sleeping with each other. And they go home literally to shower, maybe spend a couple hours, 2-3 hours sleep, and come back to the office. These men were sleeping with each other. And so say there's a woman and a man. They both got their own families. They're sleeping with each other. Wow. So, and this is not unheard of. This is normal.
Yeah, that's normal.
Well,
so, boy.
Yeah, like
just know where your priorities are.
If you're finding it hard at work, because like obviously balancing career and making your faith, at the forefront of everything you do. Just remember that like it's not meant to be easy, and like obviously living in a country that's not an Islamic country or Muslim country, it's not going to be like, it's not meant to be easy.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those, like every area, like we have there's just fitna that's just gonna be part and parcel of where we are. And like, it's just, and obviously the harder it is for you, the more reward there's gonna be for you doing 100%. It. And do you know what I mean, think of like Prophet Ayub, like Allah loves you. He's going to test you, and those who He gives a lot to, it's going to be difficult, isn't it? So yeah, like if you don't know the story, look it up. That's a righteous man with a lot of money who was inflicted by so much trial from Allah, sickness, loss of family, all that type of stuff, and he remained patient, remained steadfast. Remaining steadfast is a key in the journey of a Muslim, because it's necessary that like our lifestyle and our life obligations are not naturally going to fit in with what's an easy life, but that's why we're going to be inshallah rewarded so greatly for it.
Inshallah.
Yeah, man. Anyone else got anything for us?
No, actually.
We good?
No, buddy.
We good? Socials, people. Jollof after Jummah on the Instagram. Ibs, what's the Twitter?
JJ_pod.
With a bit more life, please.
Yeah, I'm saying it like that because Twitter is lifeless at the moment.
So lifeless plug for a life.
I don't know why.
No, but yeah, Insta. Obviously, I'm trying.
What do you mean?
Why do we have a Twitter? You don't use it. You say you want to use it for discussion.
For business inquiries.
We do. You know what? I'm gonna make more of a conscious effort to do more work on it. I've been saying this, but now that my priorities are aligned.
Okay.
Yeah.
New wife, new me.
Yeah, obviously. I will make more of an effort.
Yeah, man. And any feedback you want to give, or any opinions you want to share? Sorry, more importantly, on anything we've discussed, obviously, or any experiences.
Do man them listen to podcasts?
Right.
Man,
yeah.
Excuse me. Right, like, is this cut off of the money?
Why did you?
No, continue. Let him finish.
Let me finish the plugs on.
I'm sorry.
Any experiences you want to drop of workplace, or any kind of advice you want to give to the people, feel free to share, put it in our DMs or email us, jollofafterdrama@gmail.com. And yeah, man, Ibs, I'll let you talk now.
Yeah, I'm just like, do man them listen to podcasts? Because why?
Yeah. No, do you know this with Mandem? Yeah, Mandem listen like. I think you underestimate how much Mandem listen to podcasts, because
no, it is. Not a lot of people subscribe, and a lot of people follow the Instagram.
But the followers of the Instagram is always going to be more sisters. That's a given. But in terms of the actual listeners, it's not as lopsided as you think.
Okay. Maybe this is the one, Mr. Fix.
I don't know.
It's not because man listen, because
like, think we can't see it.
Like I listen to podcasts and I can count on one hand. I shouldn't be saying this, but I can count on one hand the amount of times I've like properly interacted with the podcast. And there's been times I want to, but I just don't. It's Mandem, innit? Obviously, we're Stush. Mandem are Stush, like.
No,
more Stush.
Fair enough.
Because look, these how much of the time we're talking on the, how much of the WhatsApp convos that we have, obviously I know we're not WhatsApping girls, but like a lot of convo in group chats and blah, blah, blah comes from the pod. So the man are listening. But it's just, so it's not...
Fair enough.
But no, but on that, like people...
I just gave one look to the camera. You're going to have to cut that out.
But if I say that, if I speak, I'll be in trouble. Okay. But yeah. Assalamu alaikum, people. You're live with the Judge Boys. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe.